I've been fortunate enough to work hard and be in the right place at the right time, which included the Laker locker room during the Kobe and Shaq years. Just watching all of that unfold, having watched Kobe in up close and personal, I was really lucky to have been in that situation. I'm really lucky to have been a basketball fan in his prime, to have owned a large number of his shoes. I'm a huge Kobe shoe guy. So the news yesterday that the relationship between the Kobe Bryant estate, meaning Vanessa Bryant, and Nike came to an end. And Vanessa Bryant told Nick DiPaola at ESPN that it essentially came to an end because Nike was not willing to be flexible in the way that they executed the shoe deal. Like Vanessa wanted more Kobe product in the marketplace. She wanted it more readily available to consumers. She was frustrated that smaller sizes for kids and grade school were not available. She was frustrated that there were not more Kobe releases after his passing. So they were unable to come to an agreement, and the contract that Kobe signed 5 years ago expired. And the Kobe brand is now dead at Nike. And Jake, I say to you that perhaps in your lifetime, he is the most prolific shoe icon that you were actually able to watch on a regular basis.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think that, Kobe for my generation, he clearly was our Michael Jordan. And I think that, Kobe is, it's just really difficult to know that, not even from hey, I got to have a shoes perspective, but just just from the perspective of it just reinforces the idea that he's gone, that it just is another blow to the whole idea that, he died so suddenly. There wasn't it almost feels like we're robbed of all these years of watching him, develop other players and continue to do awesome things in basketball. That to me is where this whole, contract thing not being renewed comes into play. Because am I upset that I don't have Kobe's? Yeah, sure. But that's hardly the issue here. It's more about the fact that, if they would have renewed that contract, his legacy lives on. He continues to be a thing at Nike, and that to me is really the most disappointing part. I look at all the people that he inspired, and a lot of that was through his shoes. Back in the day, we would go to House of Hoops. I don't remember what mall that was in SoCal, but we would go to a House of
Beverly
Hoops.
Center.
Was it? Okay, Beverly Center. The House of Hoops in Beverly Center. And I remember there was one time where we got a pair of Jordans and a couple pair of Kobe's, and then, we would go back down to the beach cities and we would hoop in those the same day. It was a whole thing. And now that's just not a possibility anymore. And it's those kind of memories where I'm like, man, it's not just the fact that the shoe is pretty and beautiful and highly sought after. It's all the memories that we have playing in those shoes and the things we did and all that. So that's what's so difficult about it.
Yeah, and I think, I remember the day that I got the original Bruce Lee's. I remember the day that, I got the original Purple Haze. I remember the day that Kobe came back to Nike and was wearing Jordan Retros while he was playing. I remember just being excited that his shoe was coming out. But Kobe is about a lot more than just shoes at Nike. Kobe is Nike for a lot of reasons. I think he is arguably, next to Michael Jordan, the most successful shoe entrepreneur ever. His brand from clothing. I remember having a pair of Kobe socks. I happened to need a 2XL size sock because I wear a size 15 shoe. I remember having my first pair of Kobe socks and just freaking out over it. I remember buying you, as a kid, a Kobe logo t-shirt. And I'm being excited that I'm buying my son a Kobe logo t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff like that because of the relationship between that logo and that man, that guy. And yes, Kobe absolutely went through some tough times in his life. The whole Eagle, Colorado thing, absolutely. But that's part of his legacy. That's part of his story. And I think when you look at the shoe game and you look at the shoe brands now, there will never be a replacement at Nike for Kobe Bryant. There's not an iconic figure, mainly because there will likely never be another basketball player like Kobe. But his presence, his aura, his drip, his swagger, you'll never replace that. Nike will never find another guy like that. And it's why I continue to collect Air Jordan Retros. It's why the shoe that's on the wall up here, the Kobe 6 Protro Green Apple, was such a huge win for me last week because I just can't believe that I got it.
Yeah.
I just can't believe I got it. And it's because I've never been able to, especially since his death, get a shoe, a Kobe shoe from Nike because they're in such high demand. And my guess is you really regret selling your Bruce Lees.
I do. Yeah. It's upsetting for sure. I didn't want to, and I did anyway. And
why did you do it?
Because the profit was they were reselling for over $500, but I knew I shouldn't have sold it. I said to myself, you probably are never going to get another pair of Kobe's again, and you shouldn't sell these. And what did I do anyway? I sold them. So it's frustrating. It's really frustrating, and it makes it so that now, it's likely that if I want a pair of Kobe's, I'm going to have to pay an absorbent amount for them. And that's really unfortunate. So, it just is what it is.
Do you really think this is it? Because I don't. I think this is because, listen, Vanessa Bryant and the Kobe brand, you're not going back to Adidas. There's nowhere else for the Kobe brand to go. You're not replicating what Kobe had at Nike. I think this is a negotiating tool.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like to me.
What I want them to do is I want them to treat Kobe's shoes like they treat retros, because that's the level that Kobe shoes are on. Now, you're never gonna replace the Jordan retro line, of course, but my point is that, everything from the very first, Kobe that they put out all the way up to like his most recent stuff, everybody wants them because they're amazing shoes, So I hope that they find a way to get back on the same terms, find a way to work it out. And I agree with Vanessa. I do think that Nike should be producing his stuff in more volume because people want it. And I think that now that he has passed, I think that there is a lot of nostalgia about Kobe Bryant. And I think that it's just this whole thing where I don't understand why Nike wouldn't want to do that. It does not make sense to me. People are willing to pay for the shoe. Why would you not mass produce it? And I don't know. That's the part that really confuses me. It's not a money issue. You're going to sell out in literally 30 seconds when you release them. So it's not a money issue. What's the issue? What could possibly be so much of an issue that you're not willing to be flexible with Vanessa? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know. And it's something that's very difficult to digest. I mean, it just, when you have somebody like Kobe Bryant that passes away so suddenly, he becomes mythical even more than he was in life.
Yeah.
He becomes mythical in death.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Vanessa Bryant's in a no-win situation. I mean, she's only here because she lost her husband and her daughter,
mm-hmm.
and several of her closest friends. And now, yesterday, the first thing you saw was, oh, she's being greedy. Well, when you say she's being greedy, do you think Vanessa Bryant wants for $1? Because she doesn't. I mean, what Vanessa Bryant wants, and she's openly talked about this on social media, she wants his shoe to be available to everybody.
Yeah.
And the problem is, that's not how Nike operates. Nike chooses to make things like Kobe's very limited, very difficult to get. And now we know that most of the auctions at Nike are won by bots. And so Nike's trying to overcome that. But what that means is, if there's 1 million people, like 5 people have access to a shoe.
Yeah.
And that's just not how she rolls. And she wants young kids to have access to Kobe's product and his logo and his brand and his Nike product because she wants his legacy to live on and grow. And I'm with you. I agree with her 100%. And I love Nike. I am a Nike loyalist. I do not wear anything on my feet that is not Nike. I may occasionally wear a Van. I almost never. I have one pair of Adidas that I don't wear very often. I'm a Nike guy through and through. I don't like the way that they release and distribute shoes, especially premium shoes that everybody wants. They want to hang on to them, and they want them not to be in wide release, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, and I don't understand if you're, again, the math doesn't make sense. It's not a thing where if you were to make this in mass production, you're not sure if it would sell. It would sell. There's no...
But that costs them mystique.
I guess.
If you can I can walk into any Foot Locker or Champs or any store and get any Adidas I want.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just not a huge appetite for it.
Yeah, I get that there's a balance. I'm not saying that the rarest of rare Kobe should be widely available, but what I am saying is that there should never be a day certainly in my generation's lifetime where there's not a Kobe available to buy. It just shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a reality, and that's where we are. I mean, like again, I'm not saying a green apple or any of the rarest Kobe's. Like treat them like Jordan retros. Like Jordan retros are available. You can get them. You know what I mean? Like you can get 3s and 4s and 1s. Like you can get all those, and somehow now Nike is trying to say that, oh, well, we're not going to mass produce Kobe's because it's going to either lose mystique or this or that or whatever. It's like, dude, if you feel like it's going to lose mystique, then why are we selling Jordans in such high volume? Oh, that's right, because it doesn't lose mystique because people look up to him and idolize the guy as a god in basketball. They love his products. They want to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, like, I feel like I agree with your point about the Adidas thing, that you can walk into any store and buy an Adidas. And I agree that it probably shouldn't get to that level with Kobe's, but it can't be where it is now. It can't be left right here forever. That can't happen.
But they also, by the way, and I think this matters, they also don't want to be Under Armour.
Mm-hmm.
Like Steph's shoe is not special.
No.
Like there is no demand or appetite that I must have Steph's shoe. Like it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Nike has done an unbelievable job of avoiding.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jays are not Currys. They're not, like, who even has the second most successful shoe?
I don't know. LeBron, I guess.
LeBron, I get, but that again.
I mean, but I don't really like LeBron's stuff. I mean, the LeBron 10 high and low is easily the best shoe that they've ever put out for LeBron. And even since then, there hasn't really been a close second, in my opinion.
Just ask yourself what shoe is in demand, and there's not.
There's only two. It's Jordan and Kobe. Those are the two that are in the highest demand.
That's it.
I mean, legit. I mean, the other last week, because we started going back to the gym and we're trying to be more active in things. I got a KD 13, but the only reason I bought that shoe is because it was heavily discounted because his new shoe is out. So,
yeah,
I've had many KDs throughout the years. I think I had a KD 4, I think, and we've had several different models, but I don't know, man. I'm telling you that it's going to be extremely difficult to dilute the value of Kobe's by producing them in volume. I just don't think that will happen.
Yeah. Matt says, have you guys ever stopped to think about how much money you've spent on shoes? Maybe you're part of the problem. Okay. In this conversation inevitably comes up when we talk about this. I don't have to worry about the money I spend on shoes.
And what do you mean we're part of the problem? What's the...
Well, and what I think, and Matt, if I'm wrong, you can tell me, we create demand.
Mm-hmm.
because we have a new shoe on the wall every day, because we buy shoes in volume.
Mm-hmm.
But I collect. I'm never probably going to put that Kobe green apple on my foot. Which pisses you off.
Not until no. Well, so here's the thing though. With Kobe's are different, and this is why I almost disagree with the mystique thing. I don't disagree with the idea of it, but I disagree that it would be a reality. So right now, no, you can't take that shoe out of dead stock, as they call it, because right now you're never going to get another pair of Kobe's. It's never going to happen as it currently is situated. So yeah, you can't wear that shoe right now, but if there comes a day when they start producing it again and they start making things widely available, okay, the conversation changes. But
Sure.
I think with what Matt was saying that, hey, do you guys think, you're part of the problem? I actually don't think we're part of the problem. Like, I think that the problem comes in for people who have the bot. We tried to do the bot. It didn't work out for us, and we decided not to do it anymore. So the shoes that we get are just simply with the same access that everyone else has.
That shoe that's right there on the wall, the green apple, on StockX, which is one of the leading, retailers of aftermarket shoes, resellers, is ranging from a low of $372 for a size 6.5 to now $700 for a size 18.
Yeah.
That's a size 15, and it's worth $705.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. You know what? And what did Matt say? Matt said it's embarrassing that you would spend that much money on shoes. Give to the church. It's not see, and this is what drives me crazy. Because I happen to like shoes and I collect shoes, does that mean that I'm not charitable? Does that mean that I'm not philanthropic because I like to?
What about all the shoes that we've given away that we don't wear anymore, that were in really good condition?
But that's not even the point. I'm not going to sit here and list the charitable things I do. It's none of your business what I spend on my shoes. B, it's my money that I have well earned, that I work hard for. And C, it's no different than a guy that collects cars. It's no different than a guy that collects anything else. This is what I choose to collect. Why? And this always comes up when we talk about shoes.
Right.
There's always somebody that'll be like, oh, that's such a waste of money. Well, what do you collect? Action figures? T-shirts? How many pairs of boxer shorts do you need? Oh, by the way, I don't care, because what you do with your money in your house is up to you. Hey, man, I've worked really hard to be debt-free so that I can buy 80 pairs of shoes a year if I want.
Yeah.
It's none of your business.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I've always been perplexed by when it comes to these conversations. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep in the shoe game. I think it is a historic day at Nike. I think it is a historic day in the shoe game.
Yeah.
I think we'll all look back on this because no matter what happens, the shoe game will be changed forever. If they do not ever release another Kobe, it's a tragic, tragic loss.
It is.
His legacy deserves better. If they release Kobe's in wide release and everybody has access to them as Vanessa Bryant wants, I think it will devalue the product on some level. I do. I think, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. So there you go. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you're here, please give us a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Again, we continue to grow. We're rapidly approaching 400 subscribers. As we've talked about, once we get to 400, we're going to start defining this giveaway that we're doing that Jake still has not chipped in on with the Xbox S series that we're going to give away. We're going to get to 500 subscribers, and at that point, we're gonna pick subscribers out of a hat. Every subscriber we have is eligible to win. All you will have to do is use the hashtag The Monty Show on Instagram or Twitter and tag us in that post, and we're going to put you into a drawing for an Xbox. and we'll give that away as soon as we get to 500 followers or subscribers. Son of a biscuit. 500 subscribers. See, the Kobe thing gets me all upset.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I'm with you, man. It's a very upsetting thing.
He's not some average guy.
No, he's not. And I think that Kobe Bryant is if you're not in the shoe game, what makes him so different is even if you're not in the shoe game, he's still a hero to you because of the way he went about it. And I think that will forever be what separates him from everybody else.